Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. It is the Full Force News Burst Live with me, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostic 80, brought to you by Generals Joe's REBORN.com. Excuse me. Happy December to everybody. Yes, we are finally into December. Like that hasn't come around rapidly. The first today. Hope everyone had a good November. Hope everyone has a very good December. And here we are already. It's crazy, isn't it? Lots of people in the chat already. Hello to Joe Barrett, to RKW, Chris, G, Newfie, Scott, Jamie Lynn, Bo, Action J, Rad Dad Rich. Hello, everybody. Hope everyone is having a good weekend. Getting close to Monday as well, isn't it? But was I up all night playing with my skeletons, my Skeletron stuff? Maybe. How is the Robo Skull right here next to me still on the table? Because it's just so massive, it can't go anywhere else right now. Probably. Yes, here it is. This beautiful creature of a vehicle. Isn't that amazing? Go check out the unboxing I did of this the other day if you haven't already. Maybe not right this second. Give it a little bit of time before you leave this and go there. But we are talking more leaked images today. Now, I say today, these have been out now for a couple of days, but because we were doing the unboxing yesterday, I didn't have enough time, unfortunately, to squeeze out another episode, so we're doing it today. But we have more leaked classified images for Slice and Dice to get stuck into and have a look at today, courtesy of Jay Khan. And then that'll be pretty much it for today. It won't be a long episode, probably not, but we've still got some chat to do, so let's get stuck in. Let's do it. Yes, Slice and Dice were kind of leaked not a couple of weeks ago, was it now? Maybe a bit longer than that. Might even be about 3 weeks ago. Slice and Dice kind of popped out there. What's the difference from the Wolf Trooper and the Blood Wolf pilots? Just the Breakin head, or is the helmet different? Anything else? Considering I'm talking about Slice and Dice, but Matthew, I will hold fire just a second there. In terms of mold, they're the same mold, but there are differences in the deco. On Red Weasel, oh, you said Wolf Trooper, didn't you? Wolf Trooper and Blood Wolf pilot. The Wolf Trooper and Blood Wolf, deco differences, but in terms of build, the same. So I'll show you later. But they're the same. It's just that there's a red logo on Bob's Blood Wolf and a white one on the Wolf Trooper, but everything else seems pretty much the same. Build and deco. And Red Weasel has a red segment on his secondary as well. Anyway, by the by, Slice and Dice is who we're talking about. So like I said, quite a while back now, almost a month, maybe a month or so ago, they kind of snuck out. And since then, we've been getting kind of like the same sort, I think it's the same figures, kind of like a little bit more detail, a little bit closer up, more kind of focus on the accessories. And now we've seen these ones, the helmet is different. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Sorry, I wasn't really looking at the helmet, but yes, the helmets are different. Yeah, the helmets are much different. All three helmets are actually different completely. Wolf Trooper has little ears on it on the front, and the other two have different designs completely. Anyway, coming back to this. Now we've got these images from Jay Khan, which are kind of a lot more kind of clearer. We can see all the different head combinations and stuff. Now, it's also pretty important, I think, to point out that these are very early samples and kind of not like the final figure. So there's probably going to be a lot of things about all of these that change in terms of like the masks, the accessories, the actual like the paint deco and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of things that will probably change on these. But let's go through and have a look at these images. So we have this obviously like shot of the two of them. And as you can see, Slice is using the kind of chop hands or maybe the climbing spike hands. They might just be chop hands though. I imagine there are going to be multiple hands in this set as well for both figures here. So yeah, we've got a lot of kind of accessories with these guys, and I don't think this is everything that they'll come with. Obviously, the heads and the helmets and all that kind of stuff, that makes a lot of sense in terms of like a decent amount of accessories or a decent amount of tooling, because they're all new. Everything's new here. And yeah, beforehand, sorry, a couple of comments. Scott says slice and dice looking twice as nice. Like that. Luke says, do you think we will have another G.I. Joe fan day with reveals and pre-orders before January? Probably, maybe. I don't think there'll be a fan day. I think what will happen is they'll do like a pre-order drop or something, but like kind of like a short little video or something. I don't think it'll be like a big event before, and it's February technically that they'll do the next big event, let's face it, is going to be the start of next year, which is usually around February time when they do their major live event, their first of the year. They left it a little bit longer a couple of years back, or maybe even last year, because of the previous build up with everything. But yeah, we should be looking at like an early year event. As for do we get something before the end of this year? Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if we got like a claw, for example, like if the claw was dropped as like a pre-order, or if something like that happened before Christmas, before, you know, the end of the year. I'm pretty happy we're getting Slice and Dice. Love 90s Joe's and Ninja Forces, Grant. Yes, same. Soda says, wonder if the final product going to have the mesh texture. Most likely. Let's get into this. Let's talk about this. So as we kind of like skim through these images, here is another image of the two figures. Again, they've just changed the heads on these. So it looks like it's 2 heads for Slice and 2 heads for Dice and 3 for Slice. 3 for Slice on the left, 2 for Dice on the right. I can't remember, were these guys part of the Red Ninja or something else? Tony, they were Ninja Force, and they basically, in the comics, they were like the leaders of the Arashikage the Red Ninjas. And then, of course, Firefly sort of, you know, crept in there as well. And Slice and Dice are effectively like, you know, they head up the Red Ninjas in the kind of a Real American Hero continuity. In the Deke cartoon, they're just Ninja Force bad guys. Jeff says, hello, my first time watching. I appreciate the live stream. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate you joining and letting us know. Who's Major Leave? That doesn't work, Scott. That's all over the place. Is it Marge? No worries, Tony. So anyway, that you know, we've got multiple different kind of head sculpts, multiple different masks. It looks as though Slice has been given an extra kind of little upgrade with his sort of like black but very detailed skull mask that they've added, as well as the kind of standard version. And Dice on the left hand side has been given like, obviously his unmasked head, which I think is a pretty cool idea to roll with. It's possible that the kind of purple kind of classic mask that he comes with, it's on the floor at the moment, this one, it's possible that one slides over the head. I'm not quite sure, honestly. And this one, as you can see, is a separate head sculpt with a mask, that kind of blue mask on it, which again probably won't be that color, but is a very cool like dragon sort of new thing for Dice. So Slice has got a new sort of designed head, and so has Dice. Anyway, let's look at Slice. Now, this is the one I think people have been talking about the most, saying that they are hoping that this fencing mask gets given this texture on it. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is just, like I said, like a early sample just to get the head right and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. Maybe there will be another element that is added to this texture-wise. I don't know. If they were to do it, it would have to obviously be a retool from what this is. But again, this could just be like a cast piece to get the right size, shape, that kind of thing. In any case, we don't really know. This isn't, I mean, they're far along, clearly, but this is still early samples. Now, looking at the rest of the figure, he's decked out in multiple kind of secondaries, kind of like that kind of like thicker belt secondary around the waist, which is pretty cool. The kind of like cross chest sort of secondary, and then someone's upset that he was saying about nunchucks arm pieces or shoulder pieces. Oh no, he's using nunchuck shoulder pads, says Venom. Are they that bad? I don't have a problem with those. Yeah, I thought they were quite cool. I don't have any issues with nunchuck. I thought it's really cool, that figure. The only thing about nunchuck I would have preferred is if they'd given him sneakers. These are the modern versions. They will do the retro versions. You think so? Interesting. I don't necessarily think they're that different from, like in terms of design, they're not like crazy different from their original versions. I'm not sure about that. They're not nunchuck shoulder armor, says Soda. No, actually, no, they're not. Well, I don't know. Are they? Just looking at, no, it's not nunchuck shoulder armor. You're right. It's different. It's like a new. It's either a new sculpt or it's something that's on another figure. Oh, my main issue with those shoulder pads is how they hinder articulation. The beauty part is you can take them off, but in this case, yeah, like you're probably gonna have the same issue with those that you do with nunchuck, but they're not the same necessarily. They're just the same style. Yeah. Anyway, Slice personally, I think looks amazing, and I also expect there to be that extra added bit of fancy deco that he got on his original figure with that kind of like spatter, that black spatter over the red, is going to look really cool. I wonder if we'll get an orange Slice in the future at some point. That'd be kind of funny as an homage. This is the other helmet, which I really like. I think this is so cool. Kind of like an upgrade to the original, like kind of not, an update to the original, not an upgrade, an update to give him something different, a different alternate kind of look. And I think it's pretty menacing. It kind of strikes me. It's weird actually. When Slice has his fencing helmet on, and when Dice has that kind of like helmet with the kind of like the that kind of hockey mic. It's not a hockey mic. You know what I'm saying? That kind of like weird kind of like mouthpiece cover. They are very much their own characters. It's like Slice and it's Dice. But when they put these helmets on, this kind of makes Slice look a little bit like a generic ninja, which is cool because you could get, it is a 2-pack Venom, yeah. Because you could get like a bunch of these and army build them, and you've got like Slice like ninjas, but with these heads, and Slice can have his usual, fencing mask. And the same with Dice, like that. Obviously, with the face just as it is, of course, that's Dice. With the classic helmet that he wears, that's Dice too. But then you throw that like dragon mask on, which we'll have a look at in a little while, and you're kind of looking again at possibly doing some like generic troop building sort of thing. So I think this 2-pack, that's what it will be. This is a 2-pack Slice and Dice. It's on the listings. We'll have a look in a second. I forget what the name is, the internal code word name, but yeah, it's on the listings as a 2-pack. And I think these could be like a possibility for troop building based on these alternate heads. Because like I said, I don't necessarily look at this and think Slice. Obviously the color, the deco, yes, but that kind of mask is so kind of interesting, and it kind of reminds me of was it 300, those guys with the I think there's the guys in the Persian army that they send out, and they've got those kind of like intimidating masks on, kind of look a little bit like that. But this is cool. I think it's really awesome, and I love these little touches. I like the fact that we're getting a Slice and Dice, and it's not just straight Immortals. Thank you, Scott. It's not like it's not just them. You know what I mean? It's like there's more to it. There's a little bit more in there, and that's what I've always loved about Classified. Yes, thank you, Chris. The Persian Immortals, and thank you, Scott. Kind of goes with the Kitsune and Oni masks from the Blue Ninjas. Exactly, Scott. Exactly. I'm hoping that those heads are interchangeable on the Blue Ninjas as well. Probably won't be on the Red Ninjas, based on the fact that they're really old. But then so are the Blue Ninjas, and they're using the same bodies basically, aren't they? So, well, one of them is. I don't know. I'm gonna have to see what happens with that in the future. But it'd be nice to be able to kind of, mix up some, red ninjas with these heads on and stuff. But again, I'm not confident heads are gonna be swapping around. Heads will roll. Would be a nice Easter egg to toss those immortal masks in with the CG immortals. That's kind of cool, Scott. Yeah, if we ever get a Cobra Commander, Crimson Guard immortal. I would imagine we would at some point, because they are quite cool looking, and they are like, they're quite a fairly, and again, it's Crimson, isn't it? So they'll go really well with the Crimson kind of crew. That's the annoying thing about Slice and Dice. I'm going to have them together for the most part, but the whole time I'm going to be going, man, Slice needs to be like in the Crimson team. Toy Bounty Hunter says, for Classified, I only wanted 5 figures from the 92 wave to be made into Classified. Nunchuck was 1, Slice and Dice are 2 and 3, just need General Flag and Big Bear, and I'll be done with the 92 figs that you want. Cool, Toy Bounty Hunter, that's awesome. I imagine that eventually we'll get all of the figures from every era so that everyone's happy. It wouldn't surprise me. Anyway, moving on. Here's a side shot of Slice, this with the fencing helmet back on again. This is what I'll probably default to with Slice, is this kind of classic fencing helmet. As much as I love that new updated kind of we'll call it the Immortals mask. As much as I love that, I can't see myself kind of pulling away from this Slice look, if you know what I'm saying. But anyway, I think they look great. I think they look really cool. I'm really excited to get them included in like the displays, in with the ninjas. What I might have to do is I'm really gonna have to think about how I separate my my figures in what kind of groups and stuff, because the Crimson Strike team has at the moment got Prophet Director Destro, Snake Supreme Cobra Commander, and the Red Ninjas in it, just because they all kind of go really well with everything. So, and because there are like 20 Cobra Commander figures, I don't want to double up my Cobra Commanders in any of the displays. So I've got once a man Cobra Commander is with the Python Patrol, because I thought that looked quite interesting and fun. And of course the Deke cartoon, he was in that quite a bit as the Snake, and as not as once a man Cobra Commander, because that was in the movie, but you know what I mean. I've got like the Regal Cobra Commander with like just a bunch of like hierarchy from Cobra, and then again, because there's another Cobra in that kind of dark blue, the first one, there's another group of Cobra hierarchy, because we've also got multiple Destros and Baronesses and Storm Shadows and Zartans and so on and so forth. And then on one of the other displays, I've got the Hiss Tank Cobra Commander with Serpentor sort of like giving it the big one. Anyway, by the by, lots of things to think about just with this 2-pack and how I'm going to display everything. But I'll probably have these guys against like the Ninja Force, Nunchuck, Storm Shadow, Snake Eyes, Scarlet. What else have I got down here? What's his name? Well, Jinx. What's that guy's name? Kamakura. I can't believe I forgot Kamakura. But anyway, yeah, and Shang-Chi as well. Anywho, Delta 17 says the shoulder armor looks good, head looks good, could be a great figure. I think so. I think it looks stunning. And this is just Slice of the 2-pack as well. Now let's get into Dice, because here we have a lot of cool options. And again, there's a lot more going on with Dice, from like new sculpting, new pieces. Obviously, like we've got this, this head on show, which is pretty cool. Now it looks to be that he's going to be bald, which is cool as well. I think he wasn't it? Have we seen him without a mask in either the cartoon or the comic? I can't remember if we have. Luke says the Black Demon mask for Slice kind of looks like the Classified Red Ninjas mask. Yes, definitely. I think we kind of talked about those looking a bit immortalish as well, the Red Ninjas from back in the day. But yeah, Dice. So I love the fact we've got a new head sculpt, and an interesting one too, because we've got like a scar. Who doesn't have a scar in the Classified series? One running across the top here, like a top kind of just above his left eye, and then a scar by the looks of it under his right cheek. Looking really, really interesting and cool. So I like that one. Looks like he's got a DBZ eyepiece with the watermark. All right, yeah, it does a little bit, doesn't it, Scott? Halftime in Cardinals game, says Stanley. Nice. So you can join me for a bit and then go back in the second half. I get it. I like it. I like your balancing out of sports and the full force. I should have like a little screen in the top corner showing all of the different sports games. Like there's like 1,000 right now. Anyway, dice looks good. Love all the secondaries. The cross chest piece looks really interesting as well. Those little shoulder flare things look really cool. I don't even know how they're connected. They must be on the secondary, right? And they sit on the shoulders, or are they part of are they wrapped around like the top of the arm? I can't tell. I genuinely can't tell. Someone's going to have to like let me know, because I haven't worked that out yet. It could be that they're just connected to the secondary cross piece, and they're just, and they may be also connected around the arms as well. So there may be multiple kind of connectivity points there for dice. And then you've got that kind of like, again, that large kind of draped sort of waist piece element as well. Is that new, or is that on? Because I don't have V2 Storm Shadow yet. Shadow classified V2. Okay, yeah, so it's not the same. So this looks new, this little waist kind of piece. So again, a lot of new stuff on these figures, which is pretty cool, because it means we're not getting like reuse, a lot of reuse. Obviously, we are in certain parts of the body and the arms and whatever, but of course, but that's 100% acceptable. I love the fact that we're getting loads of these secondaries going on there too. When Full Force Weekly on Saturday morning, I have to double up with live EFL games. Oh, nice one, Chris. Or should that be NFL? Or are you watching Elf Football League? Or is the EFL something else? Why don't I know what the EFL is? Anyway, you'll have to correct me in that sense. Anyway, yes, so dice looking good. Like this head sculpt. I'm wondering if one of the, or both of, English Football League, got it. Sorry, Chris, I should know that. If you'd have put Prem games, then that'd have been fine. I'd have understood what you meant. Yeah, I enjoyed Man United winning today, 4-0 against Everton, which was nice. If you'd have put EPL as well, then I'd have understood it as well, Chris, because that would have made sense to me. Otherwise, I just thought you'd typoed NFL. But no, it's fine. Totally acceptable letter usage for the English Football League. Yeah, so anyway, dice looking good. Love the head sculpt. And then because this is the thing, I can't tell if that head is under this mask. I don't think it is. I genuinely don't. I think they're all head sculpts, but I'll have to look at some of the other images to see if we can see the interior of the underside of the head. Not that it really makes any difference. Like, they're going to look cool either way. The only thing I would say with this one is I feel like it should be a sort of like loose kind of helmet that goes over the head, so that those pieces around the mouth could be set, like those spaces could show the face underneath. That's what I would really like. It's a beautiful designed head sculpt helmet, though. There's a lot of extra detail that's been put into this. It's a little bit Mortal Kombat with that sort of like, like almost like a skull piece kind of around the eyes and nose, and kind of like this the teeth. Looks amazing. Yeah, I'm really into this, and I think this is a really good look. Would appreciate if it was just like spread out though, and we could see the face underneath, and it was like a helmet. But we'll see how it goes. There's deco to be applied, so they're probably going to apply face deco on the helmet, if you get what I'm saying. So you'll have in those spaces, they'll probably put that kind of his flesh tone will be in there, and which again I'll happily accept that if that's what they're going to do, which is very quite an extra thing to have to do from a deco standpoint. If that's what they do, then fine. I'm cool with that. I think it's a head sculpt and they will paint the skin tone in. If it were a mask, the thin pieces might be too frail. Very good point, Toy Bounty Hunter. They've probably done that. They've probably gone through that process, experimented with it, and gone, these are going to be too small, before they've even done anything, like as in a tool or anything. They've maybe modeled it up or something, or just looked at it and gone, yeah, that's way too small, like too thin pieces. They'll easily kind of like difficult to deal with, basically. Wrexham, oh, nice one, Chris G. Why does Dice get an unmasked head and not Storm Shadow, says Maximum Warp. That's a very good point. But again, it gives you the opportunity in the future to get a Storm Shadow unmasked in a different format. So we've got loads of Storm Shadows. I'm sure we'll get an unmasked one at some point as well. But yeah, again, I've got to admit, I love both of these figures very much. I think they look great. If they're close to this when they come out, then I think we're on to a winner, genuinely. I love all the secondaries, love all the extras. I'm just really into this. I think he's amazing. And it gets better for me. Not now, because now we're just looking at the same figure just turned around. But you can see some extra texture on that kind of bicep secondary, which, again, lovely touch. I love the gauntlets as well. And you can see there's even added kind of design on the hands. Those particular hands that are going to be very unique, I imagine, to Dice are going to have those pads on the top of the hands with the texture on them. So he's probably going to have chop, he's probably going to have C grip, and he's probably going to have fists. I wouldn't expect them to have loads more, but that I kind of expect them to have those kind of options for hands when we finally get the figures. There might just be the chops and the C grips. They might not go for the fists. Who knows? But I think one of those things is with these particular figures, and especially ninja-based figures, you kind of want them to be in like fighting. You want fighting hands for display. So having a fist and a chop hand would look good, but vice versa, both, that kind of thing. The C grips kind of can operate as the fist to a degree, but like in certain angles, you don't get the same vibe because they're open like that. So I don't know what you guys think about that. I mean, I personally don't care for loads and loads of hand options, but I default to C grips for the most part because I want them to be holding weapons. I want them to be kind of like it feels like a natural thing for an action figure to have that C grip and not have to, but it's great for those that want to display them, and I get that totally. But for me, it's not necessarily something I'm that concerned about or I need or what have you. In any case, looking good from the back, a little bit of junk in the trunk there poking out from that secondary, and I'm well into this brilliant looking figure. That is a head sculpt, 100%, isn't it? That's not going over the head. So it looks like we're dealing with multiple head sculpts, which is totally, like I said, totally fine. Then we have this. This is awesome. What an awesome addition to these particular figures. And I just can't get enough of these. Now, if you go back to quite a while back, where Justin and I in a movie news burst discussed concept art from the Snake Eyes movie that kind of came out way after the fact. No matter how you feel about that movie, it's a very fun episode where Justin and I kind of delve into loads of this concept art that just kind of came out of everywhere, including it kind of like basically solving a mystery that had been kind of plaguing us for about a year regarding regarding this Brazil Expo that Hasbro I think put on. They did this expo in Brazil, and during that particular expo, they showed it was like a motion comic, or they had like concept art basically for characters of what they were going to do an animated series following on from the Snake Eyes movie. And it obviously never came to fruition, but they had this sort of like presentation where it was almost like a motion comic sort of vibe with, music and like the concept art was moving around and everything. Now, we didn't know we didn't see anything from it. We just had this description of it, and the description to a T was on one of these, like this kind of like piece of concept art. And in that episode, we kind of break that down as well. And it's really fun to kind of like finally get some images from that particular expo. We never saw, obviously the videos, you know, gone missing, or someone's like hard drive somewhere, but it would be really cool to see what they were presented with in the first place. I'd have loved to have seen that. Profile and back of headshots confirms head sculpt. Thank you, Stanley. Yes, you're right, absolutely correct. I am Groot says 3-star draw. That's hilarious. Need at least fists or chops. The McFarlane Mortal Kombat figures annoy me so much with all secrets for hand-to-hand fighters. Yes, Scott, like I said, for me personally, it's not that big a deal, but I understand why they do it 100%. Oh, it's on YouTube, is it? Raw Talk Real Deal. What, the video that was shown to the Brazil Expo? If it is, I would be very, very happy if you could send me a link to that. That would be amazing. Hodor says Stanley. Snake Eyes wasn't terrible, just wasn't G.I. Joe. Fair enough, Chris. I mean, everyone's got their own opinions on the situation. Anyway, yes. So that, I love this. I think this is gorgeous. I think I'm really into the detail on this. It effectively just looks like one of those dragons kind of heads, doesn't it? And it's just phenomenal. And I think it's such a cool thing to incorporate into this 2-pack. For this figure, and I can't wait to see what the actual deco is going to look like on this, because I very much doubt it will be bright blue. In any case, I'd like to see something done here very like intricately with the deco. Alternatively, they'll try and fit maybe like the purple and black aesthetic of Dice on there, or they'll do something a bit more generic so that anyone can wear it. I don't know. In any case, love this, and this is probably my favorite thing from the Slice and Dice 2-pack is this new dragon style head. Scott says the deco will be insane, or the customizers will make it insane. Yeah, I think there'll be some really cool touches on this one, and I'm excited to see what it looks like finished. Here's another shot from the front and back. Sorry, from the side and back. There's me forgetting what words mean, or from the back and side as we look at it from left to right. Toy Bounty Hunter, it is a 2-pack. I'll tell you, we'll go into the listings in a sec. It is a 2-pack. I think it's Pulse exclusive, if I remember rightly. But we'll see in a sec because we'll be looking at the listings. But yeah, we know that it's a 2-pack. I'm not a huge Ninja fan, but this Slice and Dice looks great so far. Looking forward to these guys. I only had Slice as a kid, says 3-star drawl. Yeah, because they weren't, obviously they didn't come together, did they, back in the day? Kitty said. It was a Ninja Force single card stuff kind of situation, wasn't it? I didn't have either. I didn't have either of the originals until much later in the years as a as an older collector. But I did not have Slice or Dice. The Ninja Force I had, I got from the US on a trip when I was very young, in like the early 90s, obviously. And it was who did I have? Oh, goodness me. Dojo, Nunchuck, Snake Eyes, and Nunchuck, Dojo, Snake Eyes. Nunchuck, Dojo, Snake Eyes, and one other, and I can't remember who it was. But a lot of the others got away from me. I didn't get Scarlet. I didn't have Zartan. I didn't have Slice or Dice. I didn't have... there was a few. Chabang I didn't have. Oh God, I just can't think off the top of my head, but those 3 I definitely had. I'm sorry, I'm just reading comments. My classified ninjas are all haunted. They like to mysteriously fly off the shelf for absolutely no reason, says Chris. Maybe that's because they are not securely positioned. James Oliver says, now we need to know what is the other 2-pack. We'll go through the listings in a bit, James. I'm not sure which one you're referring to, but we do need to know what all of them. There's a few that we don't know, aren't there, at the moment? Toy Bounty Hunter says, Dice and Nunchuck were the last figures I got until I found a Night Viper at a Walmart in 96. Oh, that's a good shot. That's a good figure to find, though. Yeah, 96 is an interesting year to find a G.I. Joe figure, though, isn't it? Especially in a Walmart. That's really cool. I like that story Toy Bounty Hunter. I'd be interested to know how long a lot of them were on pegs for, or how long stores kept hold of them like that. Because obviously was it 94, pretty much, I imagine 95 still had a few kind of like stragglers, but 96 is pushing it. That's really interesting. And then I'm sure there would have been like, clearance bins and stuff like that would have had G.I. Joe figures in like other stores. But anyway, I digress. Let's go on to leaked listings, because that's all the images to look at. 2024, it's green. Don't even need to. I'm going to stop showing that from now, because we don't need to look at. Maybe I'm just trying to be very correct, and we're going to remove 2024 when it actually finishes, when the year actually finishes. So leaked listings for 2025, which means that the Christmas special will have 2024 leaked listings, but the New Year's Day special won't have it anymore. So yeah, 2025. So Slice and Dice are specifically the Red Scare 2-pack G1177. They're a Pulse exclusive. So there you go. And for those of you who aren't aware, it's there on the listing on the right hand side. Look, Red Scare 2-pack G1177 Pulse exclusive. That is Slice and Dice. Now, what was it? There's a few 2-packs on there, James. There's quite a lot actually of 2-packs on there. There's obviously one just below it in Brainchild, but then you go to like the exclusives, like the Target and Walmart ones, and you've got an Unknown 2-pack, you've got a Cartman 2-pack, you've got the Brooklyn 2-pack, Lexington 2-pack. They're doing a lot of 2-packs. It's crazy. Anyway, so yeah, in terms of like the listings, you can go and check out. You can see them all here anyway, that we're looking at the moment. But specifically, what we're focusing on today with Slice and Dice, that is the Red Scare, and everything else is as you were. Nothing else has really changed on there, so you can soak all that in. For those that haven't actually seen these yet, I'm sure there'll be some of you new to watching who haven't seen the listings yet, but there they are. Okay. And other than that, of course, we've got our name-only reveals, which are currently Snake Eyes version 4, Retro Flint, Retro Cover Girl with blonde hair, Retro Televiper, Crystal Ball, and Darklon. Now, Darklon we've actually seen multiple times with leaked images. And I've also thrown in Hunt for the Master Device still, because there's still going to be things related to that. And it's kind of fun to have a little bit of, visual in the middle of that page. But we haven't seen anything yet from Crystal Ball, Televiper, Cover Girl, Flint, or Snake Eyes version 4. Now, Snake Eyes version 4 is going to be fairly new, I'd imagine, as is Retro Flint. He's getting a lot of new parts. Retro Cover Girl is obviously going to have a new head, or at least hair. So I don't know what the plan is for that particular figure, but we'll find out eventually. But effectively, we're going to get new elements with that Retro Cover Girl. She may even have a different, kind of jacket pants scenario going on. I don't know. They may go very close to Master Vice with that one, and they may redo her a little bit. I love that Cover Girl figure. I don't care what anyone else says. It's one of my favorite figures in the line. I genuinely don't understand why there's such a furore about her. But anyway, Retro Televiper, we don't know at all really what's going to go on with that one. I would imagine just a reissue of the Televiper we have, but it'll be interesting to see if they do the sleeveless thing, or if they avoid that and they do, a couple of heads in there again for like different skin tones. Because effectively it won't be much. It can't be that much different from what we already have. The only difference I can see would be to make them like short sleeves. But if you do that, you then run the risk, or the issue of not having multiple skin tones. So you have to choose a skin tone. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with that one, with that Retro Televiper. Crystal Ball is a Walmart exclusive, and we haven't seen anything of that yet creep out. But I'm very excited to see what they do with Crystal Ball. And of course, Darklon, we've seen all but the helmet, which I think we can all imagine the helmet's going to look very much like it already. But the rest of the figure looks so good for Darklon. I think that's going to be a fun figure to come out. What are you guys saying? Joan Rivers says RKW, interesting. For CoverGirl, just need to change the colors and leave off the leg straps with a new head for CoverGirl. I think so. Yeah, you don't have to go too crazy. You can use a lot of that previous figure, I think. J Nuel says Ninja Force Deke Storm Shadow is needed. Technically, we have him. They did him as that Arctic Mission Storm Shadow. Do you mean redo him a little bit more like that original? Because I would like them to revisit that Storm Shadow again, just because of the shin split kind of like articulation that isn't there on that figure. I'd like to see them redo that one, but I do. Obviously, it has the deco from that Ninja Force Storm Shadow, so technically we already have it. It would just be a kind of, they'd need to upgrade on that one. Chris G says, I want swappable faceplates on Televiper that say like alert and things like that. That would be fun. I thought that's something that would have been done, not just, you know, like with Classified, but especially with Super 7. I'm surprised we haven't seen it with them, honestly. I bet Televiper's purple is a bit more vibrant, says Ryan. Yeah, possibly. They're gonna have to do something, aren't they? But in terms of what that figure is, it's not going to have, I don't think it's going to change much. It might be one of those things where it will be the one in the lineup that everyone goes, we don't like it. It really, it's kind of like an eel, where it's difficult to army build Televipers if they're attached to something expensive like a Trouble Bubble. But if you pop them in a retro card back, then you instantly open the opportunity to improve army building a little bit. So they could look at it like the eel, where they don't have to do much to it at all, and they just throw it on a card, and you guys can buy a ton of them, and there you go. But the thing for me is, if you're going to do a retro release, you'd want to change it up a little bit. Deco almost certainly will be brighter or different to some degree, and yeah, I'm interested to see what they do with that one. I am. Because it could be one of those ones where we look at it and go, it's just, you know, an army builder if you want one, or we'll look at it and go, they've made some changes here. I'm going to need that kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Classified River Otters, codename Laura and Stanley, please help my wife gateway into collecting. I love that, Stanley. That's so funny. Looking forward to Crystal Ball, but not Walmart exclusivity. True. The thing to do with that, I think, you've got two options. You get on premium, right? And you try and pre-order the small amount that pop up for premium on Pulse when they go up for pre-order, right? Or you get in on Walmart.com and pre-order anything that you want from Walmart, because yes, they will still exercise the right to cancel orders, which can happen and does happen and is still rife, I would say, with Walmart. But those are your two options. Waiting for it to hit the store is not an option anymore, not for Walmart. For the most part, it feels like they really under order things when it comes to G.I. Joe exclusives. Like Falcon and Quarrel, you just don't see them. You don't see them anywhere. They were only ever going to be online. I think you can still get them in the UK on UK Pulse, I believe. But you know, it's really difficult to get Falcon and Quarrel 2-pack now. And again, I was fortunate. I got in on early on. Actually, I think that one might have been a cheeky present in actual fact. But either way, those are your two options: getting in early on Pulse with premium membership, or just ordering from Walmart as early as you possibly can. The problem is Walmart will sometimes often cancel orders or make it really painful to actually get it. But yeah, I'm the same. I don't necessarily enjoy the Walmart pre-order stuff. Target isn't as bad anymore. Like that really isn't a problem anymore in my experience. But certainly Walmart exclusives are rough still. I feel like all the Walmart exclusives have eventually made their way back to Pulse months later, except for Range Viper. Yes, that's true. They do kind of come in and out, don't they? They pop in and out of stock, but you have to be quick. You have to be on it. You have to be very lucky. A lot of the time, you have to be following like about all of those different people on like X who know, like 80s Toy Boy, Jedi Jaybird, Preternia. You follow those on X and you'll be okay for trying to order stuff there for sure. Do you know the timeline and Walmart circumstances of Crystal Ball's release? Is he random or a con release? Well, we don't know. We just know it's Walmart exclusive, and Walmart, they usually reveal them on collecticons. Usually they mostly come out at night mostly. Maybe 1 in 5 Walmarts are even carrying Joes around here. They do sell, but they don't get any hurry about reordering. Yes, big time. I had an interesting point the other day made that places like Walmart and Target, if something is selling out and selling well, it will actually stay on pegs longer, and they because it's doing well, so they extend its period of time on shelf. Whereas, and if something is coming up behind it, it won't get put on the pegs until they're sold through. So they tend to want to give people time to cycle through, which is interesting, isn't it? You'd think it'd be the other way around. You think you'd sell out of it all and then get on to the next thing, but no, they tend to if something's doing well, they will kind of order more, like expand on it a little bit more, not necessarily with toys but in general. But yeah, I found that quite an interesting point that I found out the other day. BBTS might get them later, but of course they will be marked up. True. Got my second set from Walmart today, but I never depended on it, says Newfie. Yes, exactly. It's a toss up. Thanos says, is Classified Lobotomax going to be an exclusive? That would be great, wouldn't it? I'd love them to do those kind of things, like Lunatics, Manimals, all that kind of crazy stuff would be amazing. I've got to have something to go with my Robo Skull, haven't I? Oh, sorry, multiple Robo Skulls. So fortunate. Yes, and also these are the digital renders that we know of at the moment. Of course, Law and Order, Footloose, Blowtorch, Snake Eyes with Polar Bear, and the Legacy Firefighter, and of course that Claw with Pilot and the Frag Viper for Cobra. That is almost everything. One more thing before I go. Well, 2 more things, but one more thing I wanted to mention first is we wanted to send our condolences, of course, to Morgan Lofting's family and friends. Of course, she passed away, I believe, on Wednesday. She was 84, and of course, known really, really well in the G.I. Joe community. As the Baroness, the voice of the Baroness. She will always be the voice of the Baroness. And we just wanted to kind of just say a few words, basically, because Kate and I got to meet her on a couple of occasions. She remembered us. We hung out a couple of times, and she was just genuinely very lovely to both of us. I think Kate even got a picture with Morgan and a bunch of the Finest crew as well in all their Baroness cosplay, and it's just awesome. So it was, and that was in Ohio, I believe. That was at one of the Roma Collectibles events, which was amazing. And of course, we met her for the first time at Rollout Roll Call way back in was it 2017, 2016? I don't know when it was. It was a while back. Yeah, we had a great time hanging out with Morgan and who else was there? Absolutely just gone out of my mind. Anyway, we got it was great hanging out with her. She was lovely. That's where we first met her. We had a long chat with her. And yeah, she was just really, really nice and lovely. And we're desperately sad that she passed away. So like I said, our condolences to Morgan's family, friends, colleagues, anyone that was close to her. Obviously, you know, we rest in peace, and that's that. Right then, thank you guys for joining me for zoom all the way back for a little classified slice and dice leaked images ep. I am actually going to be going almost immediately after this for our patrons, so we'll be doing a patron episode very shortly as well. But thank you very much for joining me today. I will probably be back. Let me think. When am I coming back? Well, tomorrow's Monday, so probably tomorrow, depending on if there's any news. There'll be other things, I think, coming soon. I've got the Lenny and Tony interview, which I'm going to try and work out if either this week or next week. It might more likely it's going to be next week. Either way, I'll work that out with those guys and put out a social post to see if anyone has any like questions they want to throw in there. But thank you very much for joining me today, guys, and I will see you on the next one. Stay fresh, cheese bags, and after 3, you know what to do. 1, 2, 3. Full force. Laters. That's it for this installment of the Full Force News Burst. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe. See you next time, and as always, full force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on X, formerly Twitter, @The Full Force, liking the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Full Force. We've also added a brand new Instagram, so check us out there as well, @The Full Force Podcast, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on any of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.